height of the Ukrainian conflict, NATO will have a new member.
A local barber faces jail time for child sexual abuse.
And later, I'll be here at Denton Fire Station 1 to introduce the newest member of the firefighting fleet.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm Macy Terry.
And I'm Madeline McCrory. NATO is looking to add a new member, Ukraine. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken wants Ukraine to become a member of NATO. A recent summit aims to get Ukraine that membership.
Ukraine will become a member of NATO. Our purpose at the summit is to help build a bridge to that membership. The fight that Ukraine has on its hands is not only Ukraine's fight, it's everyone's fight, because the aggression being committed by Russia is not only an aggression against Ukraine and its people, it's an aggression against the very principles that lie at the heart of the international system.
While Ukraine is not yet a member of NATO, they do receive support from NATO and its allies as a NATO partner country.
Today, Vice President Kamala Harris is visiting North Carolina to announce $20 billion in clean energy funds. The Biden administration says the money will go towards tens of thousands of projects across the country. In total, they could avoid up to 40 million metric tons of planet-warming pollution over the next 7 years. The administration estimates 70% of the investments will go to low-income communities. The funding is part of the total $27 billion Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, which was created by the Inflation Reduction Act.
A Denton barber was sentenced to 55 years for child abuse. Jose Medina was the co-owner of the now-closed Medina's Barbershop in downtown Denton. Medina was indicted on 1 count of continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, as well as 2 counts of indecency with a child. Before attorneys gave their opening statements, Medina pled guilty as charged. The attorneys came to a plea agreement of 55 years for 2 counts of indecency with a child and 20 years for continuous sexual abuse with a child of under 14. The punishments will be served simultaneously. Medina has been in Denton County Jail since July 26, 2022.
So, Madeline, the weather is warming up today.
It is, and thank goodness for that. I'm so tired of the cold.
Me too. I hope it stays warm. Our weather anchor Isabel Mays has our first look weather.
Thanks, guys. Unfortunately, towards the end of the week, we're going to be experiencing some pretty rainy, cool weathers. But as for right now, we're going to be experiencing a high of 66 degrees, feeling around 65, with winds coming in from the northwest at 4 miles per hour and sunny skies. As we move on to later on tonight, we're going to see those weathers raise actually to 79 degrees, feeling around the same, with winds coming in from the southeast at 5 miles per hour. As we move on to later on tomorrow, we're going to see those temperatures drop a little bit to 72 degrees, feeling around the same, with wind speeds coming in from the southeast at 9 miles per hour and sunny skies. I'll be back later for your full weather update. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Isabel. Next, the Valley of Death has a comeback to life.
And later, we have some extravagant news you won't want to miss.
All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3.
Mom, Dad, I got it.
You're right, Mom. I have.
Hey Alex, this guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounce checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me?
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break?
No.
Out west, it's all about taking the time to stop and smell the flowers. A splash of color in an otherwise barren wasteland has people flocking to admire spring wildflower bloom. CNN correspondent reports from the desert in Nevada.
It's finally warming up, and so the wildflowers are coming out.
This time of year, visitors to the national park get to see the dynamic landscape come to life by spring growth.
Yes, the desert is really coming alive, and you're going to see a lot of yellow. It just really stands out, especially on the dark rocks of this landscape.
Death Valley Park Ranger Nicole Andler tells me while it's not technically a super bloom this year, there are still some locations where wildflowers stretch for miles.
So over on the west side of the park in Panamint Valley, we are having a really massive bloom over there.
So I took a drive out to the valley to check it out. At first, the area looked like a yellow stripe in the distance, but the closer I got, I found quite a few people soaking it all in.
Well, we were kind of gobsmacked when we drove down that street because it goes quite a long ways on the decline. You know, it loses a lot of elevation and it just flowers everywhere. Absolutely stunning.
Mesquite resident Diana Brookling says it was a priority to come out this season.
We were here last year and we missed the flowers.
Locals and visitors from out of state stopping to stretch their legs and walk into the fields, of course, taking lots of photos.
It's like spring break, time to go hit the road.
Nadine Bowling and Brody Wheeler checking it out while on a road trip from Pahrump to Ridgecrest.
It's a sight to see, especially living in Pahrump all these years. You don't see it very often, so I would strongly recommend coming to see this.
Well, we'd seen the flowers before we got here, but then we saw like all these, and it was just way more than what we expected, so it was like really cool, and we're like, we have to stop.
There's still time left to witness the blooms, but they won't be here for long.
We are probably going to have wildflowers through at least mid-April, and that's all going to depend on the wind and the heat.
But once you venture out to the desert, take your time and enjoy.
To see the variety of wildflowers, again, you need to slow down, get out, take a walk.
And then this is the Desert 5 spot.
And look down, look for the little differences in colors.
What a beautiful scene of flowers.
Yes, it is. And I've been seeing flowers popping up around campus as well.
Yes, spring is coming. Our weather anchor Isabel Mays has more for full weather.
That's right, guys. So like I kind of said earlier, we're going to be seeing a lot of rainy skies later on towards the week. But as we take a look across North Texas right now, we're going to be seeing Sherman's at 71. Paris is actually going to be at 68, which is one of our two lower temperatures, with Dallas being at Denton, being at 66. Bowie's going to be at 72, Graham at 73. So we're kind of sticking around the 70s in North Texas. As we look across the rest of Texas, we're going to be seeing El Paso at 71, Amarillo at 78, Abilene in 80 degrees, and Oklahoma City at 63. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast for the week, where we're going to start off tomorrow with 84 degrees as our high, 59 as our low with sunny skies. Saturday, we're going to have some partially cloudy skies with a high of 76, a low of 51, and a 15% chance of rain. On Sunday, sunny skies with a high of 78, low of 53. And on Monday for the solar eclipse, a high of 79, a low of 61, and a 34% chance of rain. And then Tuesday through Thursday, we're going to be seeing rainy skies with high weathers and cooler temperatures. That's all I have for weather at the moment. Back to y'all at the desk.
A new art exhibit is at the Dallas Contemporary. Visual artist Patrick Martinez opens his solo exhibit one night before the Dallas Art Fair. Martinez works in neon, cinder blocks, plaster, wood, and vinyl to let his art speak about topics of today. Themes in his work include immigration, gentrification, education, and socioeconomics, presented from a Latinx, Black, Indigenous, and person of color perspective. The exhibit isn't just confined to the Dallas Contemporary. The neon installations are also at a bakery in Oak Cliff and at downtown Dallas restaurants. And another is coming to the Katy Trail soon. The Dallas Art Fair is April 4th to the 7th.
You know, Macy, I really do love art.
Me too. There's something really beautiful in seeing people create.
Speaking of art, I'm looking forward to seeing the play being put on here at UNT. Our segment anchor, James Peeler, has the story.
Thank you very kindly, you two. Now, Fiddler on the Roof, which has had a history of over 50 years on stages spanning continents and 4 Tony Awards, 3 for the original run and 1 for the revival, has come to UNT. Now, I had the pleasure of speaking with the cast and crew during rehearsals, and I found out what it is that makes this show so special, and it's not just tradition.
Casey Pitts, the stage manager, spoke as to what it was like undertaking a big show like Fiddler.
Stage management at this level, especially with a big musical like Fiddler, involves a lot of bridging communication between the crew and all the designers, as well as to the actors and the directors. So basically writing up reports at the end of the night of any props we may have needed to add, set pieces that need to be changed or altered, and just making sure all the actors know their call times and everything. I'm just really looking forward to seeing it all come together. This is the biggest production I've worked on at UNT. We have the most cast members on this. So it's definitely been a different experience from the other shows I've done. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it come together on stage with all the moving parts and all the people.
And to Emily Ernst, who's a first-time director, but is no stranger to Fiddler or the theater.
This is my first. It's my debut. It's a musical that I've wanted to direct for a long time. It's one of my favorites. Life. That's a big word that we hear a lot. To life is actually my favorite number. Relationships, physical clarity, everyone learning to vocally support and physically play to a house this big, and with an 18-piece orchestra that Michael Childs is putting together.
Fiddler on the Roof opens April 18th and closes April 21st, and seats are expected to go quickly. So be sure to get your tickets at the UNT box office.
It was a genuine pleasure working with the cast and crew to put that story together, and I'd like to offer a special thanks to the UNT Theater Department for allowing me to sit in on rehearsals. And in Denton, new equipment helps firefighters battle blazes. ntTV's Taryn Mosley has more. What's going on, Taryn?
Thanks, Jimmy. Now, an electric fire truck, the very first of its kind in all of Texas, will be used right here in Denton. Now, you won't be able to tell the difference from the outside, but firefighters will be able to tell the difference from the inside. Fire Chief Hedges says that fire trucks are loud, cumbersome, and require headsets for firefighters to communicate, but the electric version is pure silence inside. But that's not the only benefit for these brave men and women. Diesel engines create carcinogens and also have diesel exhaust. And with increased cancer risk across the board in fire service, the new electric truck helps reduce cancer exposure. The new truck, known as Volterra, emits 0 emissions while on EV drive and pumping water, but has a diesel engine just in case. Denton has paid $1.8 million for this new truck, which is $600,000 more than a diesel engine, but Chief Hedges says that if it saves just one fire from being sick, it will be worth the price. Now, I'm so glad Denton has found a way to give back to its amazing firefighters. Back to you all at the desk.
Thanks, Taryn. Up next, after the break, see how Denton families celebrated Easter this year.
And later, a Boston man finally got a kidney with help from a pig. We have the story, and it's anything but a bore.
do's and don'ts of the Pole Rec Center. See that man over there? Please do not hog weights. Instead, do this. Another important part is having an attentive spotter. See, here is an example of a non-attentive spotter. Instead, do this. Now we head to the track, which should be pretty easy, just it's important to pay attention to the way the track goes. Remember to wipe down the equipment after you're done using it. The towels are provided by the gym, so it's pretty easy to wipe down the equipment when you are done. Thank you for using the Pole Recreation Center.
Denton celebrated Easter in a special way that brought joy to hundreds of kids. I had the great fortune of getting to go to the Easter extravaganza here in Denton last Saturday and speak to kids enjoying the event. Take a look. 54,000 eggs, and just like that, they're gone. Beginning at 9 a.m., families arrived at Quakertown Park, and there was something for everyone. Eating at the food vendors, shopping at the kids market, or just being a proud mama or papa with great places for taking pictures. But what drew the most crowds? The Easter egg hunts. Boxes and boxes of eggs with candy and toys for your little ones to enjoy. Tossed across fields in 6 different sections. Denton Parks and Recreation created a space for fun.
We've seen a lot of smiling faces, and we're happy to be here and provide this event to the community.
Hunting eggs for Easter marked the highlight of so many kids' day.
I just like going Easter hunting with my family.
The egg hunt. It's going to be fun. The Easter egg, getting the Easter eggs and opening them. Get eggs. Whenever you get eggs, you can enjoy getting eggs, and some has stuff in that you can play with.
Whether they were counting the number of eggs.
I'm going to try to get over 100 eggs. 60. 4.
Good, 20, 25.
Or not.
Adam.
I did not count. Making strategies.
I went to decide that there's like less people and there was more eggs there.
Or just making memories.
Pretty much just walking around. Walking around playing.
For other children, the kids market is where they get to shine. Noah Acharya, a first grader, sold his book.
Done.
Tucker Hester sold his 3D printed toys.
Dragons, big and small.
Caitlin Dawkins sold her bracelets. As children go home at noon with their memories, Denton Parks and Recreation goes back to work. Planning for 2025 starts next week. Reporting for ntTV, I'm Madeline McCrory.
That looked like so much fun, Madeline. And you said there was a kids market?
There was. Our segment anchor, Kaylee Bonilla, has more on that kids market. Kaylee?
Thanks, guys. Now that everyone's heard of the annual egg extravaganza, we know that there wasn't just egg hunts and inflatables, but there was even an entrepreneur market for children. I got to be there and get the scoop on what was going on.
Think of a community market, they picture adults. But have you ever seen a market run by kids? Saturday, March 30th, during the annual egg extravaganza, Children's Entrepreneur Market held a pop-up market for young entrepreneurs in the Denton area. The market is open to ages 5 through 17 as long as they can run their business with minimal to no help from parents. There, I met 6-year-old Josephine Liddy, who was there as a first-time entrepreneur. She told me why she chose to sell.
I thought it would be cool for other people, so that's why.
The entrepreneur was accompanied by her mother, Fiorella Liddy, and she spoke to me about her family's experience.
It was a really cool experience as a parent. My husband and I had a lot of fun helping her and helping her develop this. And she was like really all excited. Like she's been telling all her friends about it. You know, she's been doing her own marketing. She's like, you have to come to my fair. I'm either some stuff.
From cookies and lemonade to toys and even soap, the market had plenty to offer. Then I talked with the DFW market coordinator and UNT alumni, Sarah Lewis, who told me how the market impacts the community.
The community loves it. They're so inspired and encouraged to see these kids coming out. They love to support the kids, and it's just a very unifying experience. It's fun to see everyone come out and just support the kids and encourage them in what they're doing.
As these entrepreneurs from our community learn and inspire, we can see how lucky we are to have a welcoming community like this.
For more information and updates about these markets, visit children'sentrepreneurmarket.com. That's all I have for Positively North Texas this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kaylee. Football, baseball, or hockey?
I don't know. That's a really tough choice, but I think I would have to say baseball. I do love a good Rangers game. What about you?
Well, I prefer football. Good thing you're in luck, though, because our sports anchor Seth Wickman has the updates. Seth?
Thanks, guys. Coming up for sports, we'll be looking at Rangers wrapping up their series against the Tampa Bay Rays, and later I'll cover Fight Night in the NHL. Stick around.
Ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
There's no harm in wanting to have fun while in college, but it's easy to lose track of how much you've had. Apps like Drink Control and Alkadroid can help keep track of your consumption and blood alcohol levels. If you or someone else does drink too much, the signs of alcohol poisoning are as follows: pale skin, vomiting, confusion, low body temperatures, irregular breathing, blacking out, and is hard to wake up or cannot be woken up.
Dude, are you okay? Hey, what's wrong? Wake up.
It's an exciting time of year, but it's important to be responsible. If you suspect someone is suffering from alcohol poisoning, get help immediately. You will not get in trouble for seeking help if you are underage. For more info and resources, go to UNT's Division of Student Affairs.
Willis Library, located at the University of North Texas. It has computers, printers, and the building is open 24/7. By going online, you can book up to an hour of reserved space in one of the many private study rooms. Many of them are equipped with whiteboards, a table, and a TV to hook up to your computer. Textbooks can be checked out for free with a student ID. They also have many of these in ebook forms. This is still a library, so always remember to be quiet and respectful of other surroundings, especially in certain places where talking is not allowed. For example, the 3rd and 4th floor are completely quiet. As you can see, Willis Library has many options for students, with it offering many media sources and staying open all the time.
Texas Rangers wrapped up their 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays last night with a win. This put the series at 2-1 favoring Texas. Corey Seager started off the scoring with a 6th-inning home run, but the Rangers didn't score again until the top of the 9th, where they secured the win by scoring 3 runs, where 2 of which were off a Josh Smith single. The Rangers will begin a 4-game series against the Houston Astros tomorrow at 7:05 here at Globe Life Field. For some reason, last night was fight night in the NHL. The New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils threw off their gloves as soon as the puck hit the ice. The brawl involved all 10 players on the ice and ended with 8 ejections. The main card in the fight included Rangers forward Matt Rempe throwing hands with Curtis McDermott. The two had some unfinished business from the last time the two teams played each other. McDermott claimed he didn't know the fight was going to happen and it was a spur-of-the-moment kind of thing. The Rangers ended up winning the match 4-3 on a late Chris Kreider goal. Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice has taken responsibility for a hit-and-run car crash involving 6 vehicles last Saturday in Dallas. Rice, who hasn't spoke on the matter until 4 days after the incident, says he takes full responsibility for his part in the crash. The accident contained 2 sports cars rented in Rice's name, recklessly racing each other and inevitably setting off a chain reaction colliding with 4 other cars. Dashcam video shows 3 people getting out of a sports car and walking away from the scene. 2 drivers from other vehicles ended up having to go to the hospital to get treated for minor injuries while the rest were treated on the scene. Now that's all I have for sports. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Seth. So Macy, if your life was on the line, would you ask a pig for help?
Depends, but I would probably talk to a doctor first.
Well, sometimes it's the doctor that asks the pig for help. In Boston, a 62-year-old man made history by becoming the first person to successfully receive a pig's kidney. He underwent the transplant last month and was just discharged from the hospital on Wednesday. CNN's correspondent, Jennifer Pignate, has more on this remarkable story.
Photos that mark the beginning of a new life for Rick Slayman. They were taken moments before he was released from Mass General. Nearly 3 weeks ago, the Weymouth man made history alongside his team of Mass General doctors and nurses.
We're going to learn a lot with Mr. Slayman. He was brave to go through a procedure where there were so many unknowns.
For years, Mr. Slayman's life depended on dialysis. That's until the 62-year-old agreed to become the first person in the world to receive a kidney from a pig, genetically edited for the human body.
But what he taught us is that it is possible.
Dr. Leo Riella, who helped perform the 4-hour-long surgery, says Mr. Slayman is doing well despite his body briefly rejecting the pig's kidney. Mr. Slayman is not speaking publicly yet, but in a statement thanked his doctors, writing, "This moment leaving the hospital today with one of the cleanest bills of health I've had in a long time is one I wished would come for many years. Now it's a reality and one of the happiest moments of my life." The groundbreaking transplant offering hope to the nearly 90,000 kidney patients on dialysis. Mr. Slayman's doctors are now working closely with the FDA to create a path toward clinical trials.
And hopefully then, bring it to clinical practice, bring to all patients that are on the waiting list that don't have a kidney and may have to wait too long.
The hospital said scientists also deactivated a cell nuclei that contained viruses in the pig donor to eliminate any risk of infection in humans. Thanks for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 here on North Texas Television.